The President of the United States is on Air Force One now. He's gaggling with the press, taking any and all questions. So let's listen together. And then we have Governor Dunleavy of Alaska.
At the beginning, then that gives them a chance to come in and build, and very high after a certain period of time. And if they don't build here, they have to pay a very high tariff, which doesn't work, so they'll come and build.
Mr. President, hi. You had said earlier...
Isn't he a gentleman? He's a nice.
He's helping me out.
He's a very nice. He's one of the few nice ones, actually.
You had said earlier this week that Putin would face severe consequences if you get the sense from him that he's not interested. What do you mean by that?
Economically severe. Yes, it will be very severe. I'm not doing this for my health. Okay, I don't need it. I'd like to focus on our country, but I'm doing this to save a lot of lives. Yeah, very severe. Thank you very much, everybody.
One thing. All right, he's going.
The President of the United States taking a few questions. You heard the tail end of it. And he did say if they are not sincere about bringing this war to an end, the sanctions will be severe. Let's bring in Governor Mike Dunleavy, who's in Anchorage right now, Governor of Alaska. Governor, your thoughts about the president, who's about 7 hours away from your city. What are the stakes right now in your mind?
Well, I mean, it's really a just peace that I think we're all looking at. I think this is a great idea for the president to meet Putin, especially here in Alaska, given our location on the globe. We're 2.5 miles from Russia, so it's about a 7-hour flight from Moscow to Anchorage compared to a 9-10-hour flight from Moscow to Washington. And of course, the president's coming in from Washington. That's about a 5.5-6-hour flight. So, makes sense to meet here. And in terms of the stakes, obviously, it's about peace. If we can get this thing taken care of and wrapped up with President Trump, President Putin, and then President Zelensky, I think it bodes well for the world. But my understanding is right now it's just going to be President Trump and Putin talking and meeting and setting the groundwork, I hope, for a lasting peace.
You know, it seems like, Governor, that there's always some story about some Russian fighter jet that's got to be greeted and escorted out of your airspace. Have the Russians picked up the pace in this menacing behavior?
I would say maybe over the last month or so, you see more of that. But then again, Brian, we live in a tough neighborhood. Again, we're 2.5 miles from Russia. You have Korea. We're under the Korean missile umbrella. We also have the Chinese warships plying the Bering Straits right next to the state of Alaska. So it's always been active to some degree. And of course, we've got a robust military here in Alaska. So as far as Alaskans are concerned, we're not too worried about the Russians or the Chinese, but or the Koreans. But it's something we've had to live with forever. Alaska came into being during the Cold War, height of the Cold War in 1959 as a state. So this is our neighborhood. We kind of know these countries. And again, we got a robust military. So we sleep well at night. Again, getting this war behind us, I think, is going to bode well for everybody. But it's got to be a just peace, and it's got to work for all parties.
Governor, could you give us an idea of the stagecraft? Because we know that matters, how they shake each other's hands, who greets who. Remember Ronald Reagan and Gorbachev? Reagan didn't wear an overcoat. That was a big story. So who's going to be there first? Who's going to greet who? Are we going to watch the Russian leader walk up on the president? Can you let me know? Can you let us know?
Yeah, so my understanding is that the president will get there at the base, and then the Russian president will land, and the president will all be kind of out on the tarmac, getting ready to welcome the Russian president to Alaska. But I think it's going to happen pretty quick. President will land, we'll all get ready, and then Putin will land, and then after the introductions, the actual heart of this whole exercise will take place. And again, I think it's interesting because President Trump said he's going to take the measure of the man. He's going to look him in the eye, and he's going to determine pretty quick how serious Putin is about peace. And again, if it's a short meeting, then we know maybe he wasn't. If it's a much longer meeting, then maybe that bodes well for the future peace talks, which we hope happen soon.
What was it like for you over the last week trying to set this up?
Non-stop. It's been pretty busy. The White House team obviously is fantastic. We've been working with them on the ground here since Saturday. And, you know, as you mentioned, it was put together pretty quick, but I think everything's going to work out well. The security's going to work out well. The venue is a great venue at the base. So, again, we got our fingers crossed. We'll see how this goes in terms of outcomes, but the world is watching. The world is watching Alaska.
And the foreign secretary, part of the Russian delegation's already arrived. You could see some still pictures of Lavrov entering what I think is the reception area or a hotel room. So, Governor, best of luck. Thanks so much for bringing us inside what everyone's talking about and we're going to be watching today. Governor Mike Dunleavy, thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.